Hi everyone, Miss Alessandra here from the Weston Public Library, and I am bringing you some Friday recommendations. Normally I give you digital recommendations for you to use our electronic resources, but Monday we start our contactless curbside pickup. And so today I'm going to give you some recommendations of print books that we have here in the library that you can place holds on at westonpubliclibrary.org and then select a time slot to come and pick up those books. So today we're going to do some print recommendations of books we have here in the library as we are starting our contactless curbside service Monday, June 15th, and you can put holds on these books right now and pick a time slot to pick them up on our website, westonpubliclibrary.org. As I've done in previous recommendation videos, I'll be doing a few recommendations for each age group, starting with birth and going to adults. Today I'm going to give you some adult recommendations from Nancy, and we even have some recommendations of some movies, also movies that you can put on hold for that contactless curbside pickup. So we're going to start with our youngins and do some picture book recommendations. The first one is Little Monster Trucks Go by Doug Chenko. And this is a really, really cute picture book. It's about 5 trucks in a race that each end up having some type of trouble in the race and how they're overcoming that trouble and who ends up crossing that finish line first. So this is really cute. Obviously you see all the trucks are different colors, different things happen to the trucks in the race. And this one is a really great picture book for our birth through grade K1 group. So that is Little Monster Trucks Go. This is a brand new one that we just got. It's called Vinny Gets a Job, and it is written and illustrated by Terry Brodner. So if you can see, Vinny is a dog. He wants a job, but he has no idea what that means. And of course, he's going to go out there and try and get a job anyways. So this is just really cute. It's a funny story about a dog trying to get a job, but doing dog things. So again, this is Vinny Gets a Job. The next book that I'm going to speak about is another picture book, again for that birth to K1 age group, and this is called Crocodiles Need Kisses Too by Rebecca Colby. This is a really cute animal book. In this story, it's not just about crocodiles, but it's about other animals that sometimes get feared because of the things that they may have, such as sharp teeth or other animals in the book are snakes and tarantulas, and these animals that sometimes are feared by people and children grow up fearing them, but this book shows other things that we should know about the animal and that we should be gentle with our animals and with nature and with creatures. So this is a really great book to learn more about some animals that maybe aren't the furry, fluffy, cute kind. This one is a beginning reader book, goods for grades K and 1. It's part of the Elephant and Piggy Like Reading printing, and this one is What About Worms by Ryan T. Higgins. Ryan T. Higgins is the author of We Don't Eat Our Classmates, and this book is really cute because here we have this tiger, and everybody thinks tigers are so brave, they're big, and they're not afraid of anything, except this tiger is afraid of worms. So that is this story about this specific tiger, his fear of worms, and how people think that he should be big and brave, but he also has his own fears. So that's a really good beginning reader book. we're going to move on to some juvenile fiction. The first one that I'm going to talk about is 7 Clues to Home by Weston resident Nora Raleigh Baskin and Gay Polisner. This is a really sweet story. We just did our 7 Clues to Home Weston scavenger hunt this week, and this book is just truly touching. It is about a girl who wakes up on her birthday, and it's told in 2 different perspectives. Her perspective and a year earlier on her best friend's through her best friend's perspective. And in the beginning of the book, you clearly know that she's living without her best friend, but every year he has done a scavenger hunt for her birthday, and the previous year she did not do the scavenger hunt, and this is her trying to find those clues from a year ago. It is just a very sweet story and very touching. It's about friendship, it's about grief, it's about how we move on, and I think everybody needs to read it. It's just a really wonderful story. It's good, I would say, for grades 4 and up, and it's a local author, so it's great to see that. Another one that I think is good for grades 4, 5, 6. This one is called Shouting at the Rain, and this one is by Linda Mullally Hunt. You may know that author from Fish in a Tree. And this is a story about friendship also, but very different. This takes place during the summertime, and Delcy, our main character, is living on Cape Cod, and her best friend also comes back every summer, but this summer her best friend has left her for other people. So Delcy makes new friends, and it's about her story of new friendship, old friendship, and trying to find herself and her life. Again, this is Shouting at the Rain. And then the last one I'm going to do for that age group, this is the second installment of the Sal and Gaby series. This one is Sal and Gaby Fix the Universe. The first one is Sal and Gaby Break the Universe. We have that as well. So this is book 2, and this one is by Carlos Hernandez, and this is just a really fun series about, again, 2 friends. Can you see that our theme this week is friendship? And if you enjoyed the first Sal and Gaby book, you'll definitely enjoy this as well. I'm going to move on to a graphic novel. So, Jackie Haha was a James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein book that was a novel series. So it was the Jackie Haha series, and now it has been adapted into a graphic novel. So this is a graphic novel adaptation of Jackie Haha by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein. So I'm just going to quickly flip through just to show you some of the images in here. I really like recommending graphic novels because they give a different type of connection to the story. Because of those illustrations, you can connect with the story differently than just reading the words. And I think for reluctant readers, having those images are wonderful and are what will ignite them to want to continue to read if they really don't want to look at a page with just words. This is an adaptation of a novel. It's the same story with illustrations. So I always like pointing out some novel adaptations that have been turned into graphic novels with those illustrations, because graphic novels get a bad rap that they're not as important or not as educational as regular novels or books, and that just isn't true. A lot of the times graphic novels have higher vocabulary in them, and again, they're great for reluctant readers. So if you have a child in your home who really likes graphic novels or needs some type of visual to continue learning, graphic novels are a way to go, and I would definitely suggest doing graphic novels that have been adapted from novels, so then you can compare them. If they get through the graphic novel, you can ask them or have them read the novel version and see what the differences are and make their way into less and less illustrations. So that is the Jackie Haha graphic novel. We're going to move on to some young adult fiction. And the first one is actually a 2021 Nutmeg nominee for the high school age group. This one is called After the Shot Drops, and it is by Randy Rebay. This is a very important book to read at this time. It is about two African American friends who are best friends, going to the same school, and then one of them ends up leaving that school and playing basketball at a different school. And the separation of their friendship, will they stay friends? They're meeting new people, they're getting into different crowds, and then where your loyalty lies. So our main characters are Bunny and Nazir, and then we have Wallace, who comes into the story as Nazir's cousin, and he is being evicted from his home. He's getting into what would be considered bad crowds, and he's pulling his cousin in with him. And now, because Bunny is no longer around all the time, he's at a different school, Nazir is spending more and more time with Wallace. So it is a story about friendship, it's a story about loyalties and love, and it's also a sports book. So if you are someone who wants to read a sports novel, this is going to cover that as well. He's trying to get a scholarship for his basketball playing, but at the same time he has other things going on in his life, so where does sports come in? This is a great book. Again, it is a Nutmeg nominee for the 2021 high school grouping, and it is After the Shot Drops. So here's another young adult recommendation, another fiction. This one is called Stepsister, and this is by Jennifer Donnelly. This follows the Cinderella story, except it has a twist. One of our ugly stepsisters has lied and fits into Cinderella's shoe, and has deceived the prince. So this is an alternative to that fairy tale that we all know of Cinderella. What will the prince do when he realizes the woman who supposedly fit into that perfect shoe and was supposedly the one that he was supposed to be with has deceived him? What will happen? So this is Stepsister. Obviously, it is told through the perspective of one of the stepsisters in Cinderella. And this next one I have not read yet. It is a new one, but it's definitely worth talking about here. This is called The Sky Is Mine. It's by Amy Bichelle, and I'm just going to read you the inside flap again. I haven't read this one, but I want to. It's very intriguing. Izzy feels invisible, trapped under the weight of expectation and censored by shame. Her mom, Steph, and best friend, Grace, have always been there to save her, but with one under the control of her stepfather and the other caught in the throes of new love, Izzy is falling between the cracks. As threats to her safety grow, Izzy wants to scream, but first she must find her voice. And if the sky is the limit, then the sky is hers. I don't know about you, but just reading that description really makes me want to read this book. So again, this is brand new. It is The Sky Is Mine. Finally, we're going to move on to some adult recommendations, and these come from staff member Nancy. The first one is called Sweet Franchise, and this is by Irene Nemirovsky. And again, I haven't read this. I'll give you a little bit of description. By the early 1940s, when Ukrainian-born Irene Nemirovsky began working on what would become Sweet Franchise, the first two parts of a planned 5-part novel, she was already a highly successful writer living in Paris. But she was also a Jew, and in 1942 she was arrested and deported to Auschwitz. A month later, she was dead at the age of 39. 2 years earlier, living in a small village in central France, where she, her husband, and their 2 small daughters had fled in a vain attempt to elude the Nazis, she'd begun her novel, a luminous portrayal of a human drama in which she herself would become a victim. When she was arrested, she had completed 2 parts of the epic. Her daughters took the manuscript with them into hiding. 64 years later, at long last, we can read this literary masterpiece. The first part, A Storm in June, opens in the chaos of the massive 1940 exodus from Paris on the eve of the Nazi invasion, during which several families and individuals are thrown together under circumstances beyond their control. They share nothing but the harsh demands of survival, some trying to maintain lives of privilege, others struggling simply to preserve their lives. But soon, altogether, they will be forced to face the awful agencies of physical and emotional displacement and the annihilation of the world they know. In the second part, Dolce, we enter the increasingly complex life of a German-occupied provincial village. Coexisting uneasily with the soldiers among them, the villagers, from aristocrats to shopkeepers to peasants, cope as best they can. Some choose resistance, others collaboration, and as their community is transformed by these acts, the lives of these men and women reveal nothing less than the very essence of humanity. So, obviously, from that description, you can tell that this is a historical fiction. Nancy really enjoyed this book. She wanted to recommend it. It is an older novel. This one was published in 2006. It's on our shelves. So, again, Nancy's recommendation, Sweet Franchise. And another one from Nancy. This one's a bit newer. This is called Mr. Nobody by Catherine Stedman. Again, I'm going to read you the description. Who is Mr. Nobody? When a man is found on a British beach, drifting in and out of consciousness, with no identification and unable to speak, interest in him is sparked immediately. From the hospital staff who find themselves inexplicably drawn to him, to international medical experts who are baffled by him, to the national press who call him Mr. Nobody, everybody wants answers. Who is this man and what happened to him? So, this is Mr. Nobody. It clearly is a mystery, and it's by Catherine Stedman. Again, Nancy's recommendation, adult fiction. And we're going to end with a couple of video recommendations. I will do the children's recommendations first. If you liked Madagascar, here's a new one for you, The Big Trip. We see some of our favorite types of animals on here, bears and tigers, bunnies and monkeys. And again, this is from the writer of Madagascar, so it's a similar type of story. And then this one, who doesn't love polar bears? This one is Norm of the North, Family Vacation. So where do you think polar bears would take a vacation? They like being in the cold, right? So it's probably not the type of vacation that you think of at this time of year, going to the beach. But let's see what their family vacation is like in Norm of the North. Again, these are both available to place holds on. And then we're going to move to a couple adult movie recommendations from Nancy. This one is Our Kind of Traitor. While on vacation, a married couple unwittingly befriends a flamboyant and charismatic Russian named Dima, who, unbeknownst to them, is a kingpin money launderer for the mafia. When Dima confides to his new friends that he plans to escape from the mob, they're quickly swept into the dangerous world of international espionage. The unlikely companions must undertake a perilous journey through Paris, Bern, and London in order to save Dima and his family. recommendation from Nancy. And another one, this one is a foreign film, and this is Everybody Knows. Laura and her children travel from Buenos Aires to the small Spanish village where she was born to attend her sister's wedding. Unexpected events soon lead to a crisis that exposes the family's hidden past. Suspicions mount, loved ones begin to turn on one another, and dark secrets, long hidden, threaten to come to light, revealing shocking truths. This gripping thriller from Oscar-nominated filmmaker Farhadi also stars Javier Bardem and Ricardo Darín. So, again, this one is a foreign recommendation from Nancy. So all of those books are available in our catalog at westonpubliclibrary.org. You can place them on hold and then use our Sign Up Genius for our contactless curbside pickup to select a slot to pick your books up. If you have any questions, please email me at apetrino@westonct.gov or email our library account westonlibrary@westonct.gov. Have a great weekend.